Silence is where the money is. Shut the up. You know, it's an art that a lot of people just don't have. You get to know everything about your product and your service, and you just want to never shut up about it. So today's topic is literally how and when to pause, be silent in the sales pitch. And I'm telling you, this probably is the best tool in the shed. It is the absolute most poignant thing to make a customer squeal, think, be uncomfortable, gonna tell you the truth. Just everything starts at play when you actually stare at someone and you let them process. And if you can do this and master this, I promise you, your sales, your sales team will sell a lot more. So that's our agenda today. We are going to talk about sales silence. Shut the fuck up. So sorry for if you got kids in the car, but that is just really what it is. And so I just did a little short reel on YouTube about it, and of course this goes up. So little shameless plug. I am doing starting to do webinars on how to get people to really start selling in their business. If you like anything that you're going to hear at the end of this video, there is a QR code to come to one of my webinars or make an appointment to talk to me. And let's talk about your sales. Let's get your sales process, presentation, silences, scripting, the whole cycle of sales in your business working. I know it works because it has changed my business, and I've changed hundreds of other people I work with businesses here in the past couple of years. When you start focusing on sales, it's really the first thing you want to do when you start scaling is sales. So the thing about it is when people sell, they tend to just want to be the expert, and they never really let the client process of what they're saying. By not letting the client process, you literally sit there and are going to get it. I got to think about it almost every time. It's the most sought after rebuttal response that there's a lot of different ones to do. But why do you get that rebuttal? Is because you never let them process, because you never shut up. You never let them think about what they're doing. You rush through the process, and maybe you didn't even rush. Maybe you did a really excellent job, but you had so much to give them, so much information, so much product knowledge, so much why this is going to help you, whatever, that they just need a moment. And then when you come at them and you keep talking after you close them, you just they just automatically go, well, let me think about it. They may be ready, but they automatically response, the human response to being pressured into an answer is, well, let me think about it. And we get it all the time, right? I mean, you get it even when people have thought about it. But you got to realize 50% or less of your clients are going to say no today. They just are. I mean, depending on if you're a home service business, depending on, really, but if you're selling high ticket stuff, you're only going to sell 30 to 45% of everyone that shows up in front of you. So you got to let them process. Like if you're selling a, $300 window wash, okay, that's probably not a whole lot of thinking there. You gave them the price, you told them you can do it today or tomorrow, and you signed the deal. But if you're selling a full-on remodel of whatever you do, windows, you're installing, changing all their windows out, or you're, selling a fireplace remodel, or you're changing blinds, selling new blinds, and your ticket exceeds, literally anything that exceeds over, I would say $1,500 is gonna need some sales training. You're gonna need some sales. You need to sharpen that iron. Iron sharpens iron. So this is why you're listening today. Thank you for coming to Operation Entrepreneur Freedom and listening to our sales and my podcasts and my reels and shorts and everything. So let's get into it. So where do you put silences in? A lot of times through the process and you're showing people what you do. You do a qualifying scene like, does this make sense? Do you understand that? I've done other things. I really this used to really bother me when you're in the middle of someone selling you and they go, does this make sense? It used to really bother me that people would say that. And it's really come to age here in the last couple of years as part of a sales deal. And so you you ask people if it makes sense, and then you stare at them and you wait and see what they say because you want to make sure because a lot of times they're going to say yes, but you can kind of tell, are they zoning out or do they really get it? And you got to be quiet when you say, does this make sense? And then you sit there and you wait till you get the response you want to hear. You want to see if they really are listening. And then you get right down to the bottom line, right down to the end, where you've done all the discovery, you've come up with your quote, you're to the close, and you offer, hey, we can get this done next week or tomorrow, or you know. By the way, little sales tip: don't just say it and it's $14,422 and then stare at them. No, you got to close better than the money. Close, okay. It's $14,325. We can get this on the schedule next week. What's your schedule look like? And then you literally do this. Feel uncomfortable? Do you feel like you want to say something and you're just listening to a podcast or a short or a reel? That's it. You want to say something, don't you? Well, that's when you start to listen. So you pause and you listen. And when you do that, it puts everybody on notice. Okay, so let's talk about the silence. So I got some stories for you. So I mean, um, the dramatic sales stories where silence was everything. I'm gonna tell you a couple here. So number one, the whisper that sold the sky. Howard Hughes, TWA deal back in 1939. Now, if you don't know who Howard Hughes was, he was a kind of the Elon Musk of the 30s and 40s, and he's really is who spirited the aircraft industry. Made a huge plane that barely flew, but he was an innovator. He was the original Elon Musk. So, okay, so when aviation magnate Howard Hughes pitched his new line of pressurized aircraft to board of skeptical airline executives, he didn't bombard them with details. He stood before them and said, "You'll either be part of the future or a footnote to it." And then nothing, no slides, no pitch deck, didn't have any kind of a prop, nothing. Just a long, unnerving silence is all he did. And after 2 minutes, one executive said, "What do you need from us?" The deal launched CDO's golden age. Hughes' silence was interpreted not as hesitation, but unshakable certainty. Now we're gonna get into another story where this unshakable certainty matters. Let's talk about the quiet wolf, Joe Girard, the world's greatest car salesman. He's actually listed in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most successful car salesman in history. Often use silence to flip buyer resistance. He once recalled a woman nervously debating between two cars. Instead of pursuing it, he just went and got both set of keys, handed them, and then walked away. Said nothing. He gave her both car keys. Minutes later, she came back. She goes, why didn't you pressure me? And he says, I knew you were already sold. You just needed to hear it for yourself. Admit it to yourself. And so now listen to this. Joe used to say, I talk 30% of the time. The rest is silence and listening. That's where the money is. Woohoo! Whoa! Did you hear that? That's where the money is. That's where the money is. Listening and letting them process is what the silence does. It is amazing. So in your sales process, make sure you actually write, be silent, shut up. Do not talk until the client says something. I have it right in my sales process. If you're watching me on YouTube and not on the podcast listening, I'm holding up my sales process book. In here, it actually has a page that says silence. Don't say anything. Wait. First person that says something loses. Okay. Now, third story. This is a pretty good story, too. The Zen salesman of Hong Kong's luxury markets. This is just back in the 90s, 1990s. So, in the high-end jewelry district of Hong Kong, one salesman became legendary for his strange tactic. He never answered objections right away. A wealthy client once asked him, "Why is this diamond priced so high?" He just smiled and stayed silent. The buyer, visibly uncomfortable, continued, "I mean, I know quality, and maybe I'm just not ready." Still, the salesman said nothing. The buyer finally said, "All right, wrap it up. I'll take it." This is called the monk's closer, and the monk's close, where wordless confidence defeats doubt. You hear me? The wordless confidence defeats doubt. All right, one more. I got one more story for you. So this is the one where we're going to wrap this, kind of bring this all full circle of confidence and knowledge of how silence can prove the expert. Okay, here we go. Listen to this. A rising salesman in 1970 in Chicago had a buyer on the verge of closing after presenting a powerful pitch. The buyer nodded slowly and said, "It's impressive." But the salesman, nervous, he just kept talking. "And we can also offer a discount if you sign today, plus the tech is improving next quarter, and maybe I'll throw in blah, 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 blah." The buyer leaned back. "You talk like a man who's not sure of what he's selling." And then he walked away. Silence would have sealed it. Words killed the deal. So think about that. In sales, silence is not the absence of pressure, it is the pressure. Silence says, "I've said enough. The rest is up to you." So that is, the silence becomes the masters of gravity. That is where and why you got to learn silence. And it's such a big, really poignant point for you to master. The biggest, the starting point is literally when you offer the close with the money, but not just, remember I said, do it a different way. Make sure you say, "And then we can get you on the schedule next week. It's $14,423, and we can get this on the schedule next week. What's your schedule like?" And then shut up. Do not say anything. Silence will do its work. And now put your ears on and start listening to what they say. Now, we all get, like I said earlier, you're going to get the, all got to think about it. And then you got to know your rebuttals. It's a whole different video. Lots of videos on just how to think about it. But you got to be trained to know it. And this is where I don't care if you sell low ticket or high ticket, you have to have a process, the sales process, and you have to teach mannerisms, actually physicalities. Like if you watch the video, and I did that silence thing for you a minute or two ago, I just stared right at the camera. And that's the same thing you do in silence, is you just stare at them. You don't look away. You don't get wandering eye. You just stare right into in my case, the camera, but you stare right into the eye, and you just get it as you just let the pressure hit them. And it works. I promise you it works. Excuse me. Have a contest on it at work. Have the guys talk about how long they can literally say nothing before a client says something. Ask a question or come to a realization and have them build a silence part, and then literally have them time it in their mind, count until the customer says something, and watch how long it can go before it gets uncomfortable. Sometimes it can. I have literally sat in a customer for almost 30 to 40 seconds. And if you've ever sat for 30 or 40 seconds staring at a customer who's processing, they're expecting you to blow it and say something. Don't. It's part of when I sell coaching, honestly. When I go to talk to you guys and you guys want to come work with me, a little shameless plug there, I'm going to let you process. I need you to process. when I go to close you and I say it's going to be whatever this much to join my thing, and then it's going to be this much a month, and I can get you onboarded today, and then I be quiet, I'm giving you a little hint here. I ain't going to say another word. I don't care if it takes you 5 minutes. I'm going to shut up, and I'm going to wait for you to process, because the first thing you say is I'm going to have an answer for you to help guide you to where you need to be. And maybe it's not for you closing today, but I'm going to at least help you understand where I can be and where I can help you. But the silence is what's going to start it all. Silence should start your sales process. I mean, when it comes to after the close. And you got to use it more than once. Today was about when to use it first. So guys, that's my time. So at the end of this video, as you see, I got a QR code. You want to come work with me, come talk to me, come chat with me. I'll talk to anybody for free too. You can set up the appointment. No obligation. Come talk to me. I'll blow you out of the water, man. I'll give you one tip when you come talk to me that will be life-changing to your business. I promise. Make an appointment. I'll prove it to you. So guys, have fun. I appreciate everybody. Home Services, I love you. And Operation Entrepreneur Freedom is in my blood.